Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're of course for Haikyuu. Season 2, Episode 5.
And they're gonna train with the teams and it's gonna be legit.
It
will be.
And we've met a bunch of the team's kind of characters that are kind of their representative characters.
Yeah.
We've focused a little bit on learning what their kind of specialties are.
Right, the team's shtick. Yeah.
Yes, and now that Kageyama and Hinata are actually there, thanks to Tanaka's
amazing
awesome sister.
Yeah.
That was so good. We could see some full-fledged games.
We
probably
could.
like right now in this episode.
Yep. And since Lev and Hinata have that new rivalry sort of deal going on, we might be able to see some cool interactions with this, new character.
Right. In particular, them training against Nekoma, and by extension the other teams, will be good to basically let them know that they have a long ways to go before they'll be as good as a team like Shiratorizawa, which will probably just realize, oh yeah, these are the teams that Shiratorizawa eats for breakfast, but they're still the teams that give, Abu Josiah a run for their money, if they were to actually meet, because they're in different prefectures and all that. But, I mean, I'm in particular a big fan of gray hair, kind of up in a big thing like that.
Yeah, I forget what his name was.
His look, it was something that starts with a B, but I don't know. Loved his kind of design and stuff. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the other teams against Karasuno.
Oh yes,
Without further ado, let's get into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Liam.
Ah yes, Liam.
Yeah.
Okay. I love this opening, but there is a part of me that really wants to say, "Oh yeah."
I think we're gonna fall in love with all the Haikyuu openings in particular.
Just like the characters.
Yeah. That's a good stretch. That drill gets so... Oh, man. Yeah. It gets so tiring and painful after a while. You don't want to, bust your chin on the...
Exactly.
So you need to make sure you dive from a low position with your hands basically there to kind of sweep to the side so you don't hit too hard. That guy. Yeah.
I just realized that guy, though, was really messing with his hair.
Yeah. Hey!
Oh, I just realized that could have been all the managers from the teams.
Yeah, I think that was, He's having some relax time.
And this final shot.
Right. Yeah. That's in the ending.
That's right.
Agreed. Oh. So they already had their party. Wow!
That was close, though.
He's really closing his eyes. Yeah. Oh. Dang. Liev. Holy crap. They haven't shown Hinata's face yet. Yeah, he's just... Oh, okay. I thought he was gonna be all dead eyes. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Dang. We're making it work.
とりあえず猫間相手には東根田中のレフト中心で攻めてけ。はい。で、いいのか俺。弱腰じゃねえのか。
By not doubling down on Hinata?
守りに入って進化はあるのか
Or not pushing them harder?
猫間リエフ強えな強えもっと強くなんなきゃ全然勝てない
Alright, Asahi! Oh! Whoa, wait. Hinata?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. What the heck? Bro, it's okay. It's all good.
どうしたって商用が吹っ飛ぶんだからな
ちゃんと周り見ろボケ。何のための声かけだ。
ヒナガラスに進化の時かそれがチームにとって基地か強化それでも変化を求めない者には進化もない欲に自分こそが頂点である
Agreed. Name the episode.
なあ影山あギュンの方の速攻俺目つぶんのやめる
There we
Oh.
go.
He left the nest. He left the nest.
Yep.
Oh, shoot.
今のままじゃダメだ俺が打たせてもらう速攻じゃダメだ
それができなかったから普通の速攻を覚えたんだろ
Oh.
うでも今すぐお前がそれをやるっつうならミスると分かってるやつにトスあげるつもりはね
Oh.
I mean, there's a very good point to that. Don't
Yeah.
do the changes in the middle of your practice game, you know.
Yeah.
浅井さん
日向と東根がぶつかってから全員に緊張が走ってる
Yeah.
あの時のあれは漠然とした恐怖だ
Oh.
このままではひたすら貪欲に成長し続ける日向に食われる
どのチームも公式戦で当たったならとても厄介な相手
Yeah.
彼らをただの敵と見るのかそれとも
Yes.
技を吸収する石と見る
Yes.
のか
Exactly.
君たちが弱いということは伸びしろがあるということ
ほら前回猫間とやった時もぶっつけで普通の速攻できたわけだしさ
あの時は普通の速攻ならできる可能性があったしそれしか突破口がないと思ったからです
正常戦のラスト気づいたら負けてた
最後完全に読まれた
俺が負けたのに影山に謝られるなんて嫌だ空中での最後の一瞬まで自分で戦いたい
Because he got blocked. And that's.
あの速攻はお前の最大の武器だそんであの速攻にとってほんの少しのズレは致命的なズレになる
Right.
あの速攻にお前の意思は必要ない
ごめん日向俺も今影山の意見聞いてたら今回は影山の言うことが正しいと思ったよあの速攻は十分すごいあれを軸に他の攻撃を磨いていくのがベストなんじゃないかな
Oh.
でも調子がいい時はスローモーションみたいに見えるんです田中さんが言ってたみたいに
たまにな空中でスローモーション見た時
Yep.
相手のブロックが見えることがあんだよこうスーッと光が通ったみたいに
3対3で初めて速攻を決めた時も向こう側が見えましたてっぺんからの景色が見えました
だからそれはそんな気がしたってことなんじゃ
No. He actually saw. Yep. Here it is. Here it is.
いた始まりますよ
Hinata scared him so much.
はい
Oh man.
日向と変われ
はい
And they're all passed out.
今回は
And
本
yeah,
当に
these
い
two
い
are
合宿でした
awake.
ねいろんな課題を見つけられた気がします
まあ全部持ち帰って一個ずつクリアしていかないといけないけどな厄介な身内が帰ってくるんだよな
Okay.
Mother, sister.
はい、
Why do you
皆さん
assume it's a
お
woman?
疲れ様でした
トスあげてくれよ。
Okay.
あれはい。
ボールに気を取られてマックスのジャンプじゃない。
Wow.
もう一回。
このできるかわかんねえ攻撃を繰り返すより今までの攻撃とかサーブとかブロックとか他にやること山ほどあんだろうが。だからこの速攻にお前の意思は必要ないって言ったんだ。俺がブロックに捕まんないトスを上げてやる。
それじゃあ俺はうまくなれないままだ。
Right. Yeah.
俺は自分で戦える強さが欲しい。
You're on a team.
てめえのわがままでチームのバランスが崩れるだろうが。勝ちに必要なやつになら誰にだってトスを上げる。
And if you're not,
でも俺は今のお前が勝ちに必要だとは思わない。今でも変わりねえからな。
あけー
離せ。
トス上げてくれるまで離さない。
He is a yandere for volleyball.
取られたじゃねえか。今のままじゃ上にはもう通用しないんだ。おいお前らやめろ。
Jeez. Oh man, my heart.
wow. Okay.
俺中学の最初で最後の大会で影山にボロ負けしてさ、リベンジ誓って高校来たら本人いるし初めて友達じゃなく相棒ができた気がしてたんだ。
Exactly.
Oh, Yachi.
じゃあまたね。
Oh. She feels for them. So much.
でもさ、あいつらの喧嘩って今に始まったことじゃないだろ
Yeah.
そういやあいつら入部届出す前から喧嘩してましたよね。
え、そうなの？
Yep. Yeah, but that
初日から
stopped pretty
京都の
quick.
カツラ吹っ飛ばすわ。第一に体育館締め出されるわで大変だったよな。
向こう側が見えました。てっぺんからの景色が見えました。
あの目自分がジャンプの最高点にいる時間など文字通り一瞬。ブロックが見えると言っても普通はぼんやりと認識する程度。
Whoa.
でも稀に
Because of the motion that you're doing. Dang.
神業的セットアップから繰り出される速攻。それを空中で平田が自分の意志でさばくことができたら、
That would be pretty amazing.
もしもできたら、あのコンビは小さな巨人をも超える。
Whoa.
平田か。
Hey.
コーチ、俺はどう練習すればいいですか？
Whoa. Yo. Okay, I have
All
some
right.
things to talk about in the discussion. Holy crap.
Okay. So
Oh.
that episode happened. I was
Hold it for the discussion.
all right.
Wow.
So
Like, this was something I could never have predicted.
me neither. Me
Like,
neither. But I
this
really
is
like that
huge.
they're doing this. So before I forget, this makes me think of the ending in a whole different way because okay, at the end, right, it shows Hinata jumping up, reaching
Right.
for the sun, right?
Right.
Grabbing the black feather and
Right.
everyone else looking on. Because basically, since he loves the game so much,
Right.
he's the one that will do the he basically won't rest on his laurels, right? Because they have a
Right.
great thing going with the Freak Quick with him and Kageyama.
Yeah.
But that's not enough.
No.
And a lot of times, you know, in their situation and just for like I know for myself in life in general, like when you have something that you're good at, it's like, oh yeah, I'm good at this. I don't need to worry about that. And covering all your bases and you know, being being able to do a lot of different things well is
Right.
very important. But if you're wanting to basically really stand out, you don't stand out by being able to do a bunch of different things. It's by being able to do that one thing really well.
Really well. Yeah. And Hinata's character right now is executing on the culmination of a lot of build-up in particular, because one of the things that Hinata wants to do, is he wants to be like his hero, the Little Giant.
Yes.
And one of the things that this show constantly throws in your face in all the right ways is that he's exactly like the Little Giant. He is literally the reincarnation of the Little Giant in some ways. But one of the things that they bring up also over and over again is that no one player is going to win the game for a team.
It's a team-based effort.
And Hinata is getting told the truth by the rest of his team, that in the context of that quick, it doesn't make sense tactically or in any context for him to shift up the way they're doing it on the chance that they could get it better.
Exactly.
They've already got a good thing. If anything, the setter could be a little bit less obvious about when they're sending it to Hinata. And that just requires more effort on the team as a whole. But for Hinata, that's not what he wants to hear. It's also something that we know caps off a little bit of Hinata's development with his skill. And he mentions so in the episode. So in particular, him talking to Ukai there, and Ukai kind of being like, wait a minute, physically, it doesn't make sense. Now, I wanted to touch on that. So when I'm playing Ultimate Frisbee, and I go for a big jump in the air, you get a blink. Of like a vision basically to know what you're doing, and your brain basically interprets all of that information, and I'm telling you, you focus. You don't look around at the environment or anything like that. You don't get a sweeping view, if anything like that. And the fact that Hinata is able to register that information and remember it, and it's not all just a blur. That's ridiculous. That's one of those.
I could see Oikawa's eyes as I made the spike. He's like, I know it probably felt like that. No, I could actually see his eyeballs.
Right. And I love how they're bringing in the outliers specifically with regards to Hinata's jump in particular. Because if they started developing Hinata to actually be able to move faster than, most players in the game, that's just not, plausible. For him to have, better defense or just all these other things, no. Strength, no. But him just going really in hard on this this idea that he has mid-air attack potential out the wazoo, because of the spring in his step, the speed at which he can get from the ground to into the air. There's some cool things that could come from that. And and them having this be in a sense a good callback to a lot of Hinata and Kageyama's development in the past by showing that Kageyama's approaching this in the right way. He has moved on from his king of the court standpoint, where he is not thinking about this in regards of Hinata's going to steal the spotlight if he can get this extra, version of the freak quick to work. It's no, you are ruining the rest of the team's potential by being greedy and trying to essentially hoard all the glory for yourself. And this is something that, again, in a team dynamic can destroy basically the flow of things.
Yes, but at the same time, it might be something that is absolutely necessary because, as we know, this is Asahi's last year. They're going to be having players cycle out, and then they'll need a new ace. And, maybe Hinata will be able to fill that spot there.
One of the things, though, that this brings up, though, is I'm kind of... I know that this is a hype shonen show, so Hinata is going to be able to do this at some point. But I am kind of with Kageyama on this. One of the things that this team dynamic needs more of is the synergy. They need to acclimate more to each other. By Hinata basically saying that I lost the game against Seijo, he's already in the wrong. He did not lose the game for Seijo. He got blocked by Seijo, And maybe he is doing the same thing that kind of Kageyama used to do, where he's taking too much of the blame onto himself.
Sure. Yeah.
But what he should be doing, and this is a good thing of what he probably will end up doing by him going to the coach and be like, how am I supposed to practice? Is should Hinata practice on developing himself separately from the team or in conjunction with the team's practice? I would say separately. Hinata, if he wants to focus on developing his own tactics and skills, he needs to put in the extra effort. He needs to put in the extra time somewhere else from the team.
Okay.
And focus on developing that. Run some more drills with getting better your jumping in particular. Like actually develop some strength in that in particular. Focus on just practicing looking around when you're up there. You don't need another player to make a jump. If anything, it's all mental. That was one of the things I was really worried about when he was making all the serves there, was that he was saying he's just focusing on the ball and he's not able to make the jump. I'm like, yes, because he's focusing on the wrong things.
Right, as opposed to just jumping as hard as he could. And
yes.
Then,
yes. And that's the kind of thing to show that Hinata needs to focus. He needs to zero in more so on what he wants and go into that yandere mode where he stares and he knows exactly what he's doing and why he's doing it. Because in particular, I was getting like a little bit emotional for Kageyama because he's looking at this from the perspective of, we have such a great thing. Of course we're not as good as Shiratorizawa.
Right,
but that's not in the present right now. You can't think about...
Right, think about what's directly in
front of you and focus on that. Otherwise, you're going to tear the team apart in your selfishness, essentially.
Right. And it's great to have Kageyama be the one telling him this because he was the one that was there when they met. That's
so
he was
good
at.
Because we empathize with Hinata. We feel for his need to do the best he can on the court.
Right. He loves volleyball so much it is literally like tearing him up inside, and he can't stand it. But there's more than just you on the field.
On the court.
Yeah.
In particular, this is a big kind of problem I've had in a lot of Ultimate Frisbee setups. So when you have Ultimate Frisbee game going on, it's much more desynchronized, I would say, than volleyball is. With volleyball, you need a lot more synergy going around because the ball is getting passed a lot faster than the Frisbee is.
Sure.
But in Frisbee, there's a term called hucking, which is basically where you just chuck the disc as far as you can forward and hope someone basically just scores outright. That tactic is actually selfish. One of the things that it is utilized for is to show that you have the capabilities to hit your mark with the target of who's running, throwing the disc ahead to make them catch it and score. And you're essentially robbing the rest of the team of their ability to pass it up the field, much like you would in a soccer game. It'd be like kicking a goal in a soccer game from half court, expecting that obviously it's going to go in. It's extremely selfish, and you're ridding your team of the opportunity to move the ball up the field. By Hinata doing this, there's two sides to this, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Is, do you think that his desire to get better should be a greater focus for the team, practice structure, specifically whenever he is, doing his drills? Or do you think it should be a thing that the rest of the team should begin to acquire kind of that I think it's one of those, it's hard to communicate.
I think it's one of those things where Hinata's mindset is kind of where the entire team should be. But as far as the practicality of it, that's more of Kageyama and Ukai and stuff like that, which is why I love that Hinata came to Ukai at the end of the episode and said, how should I be practicing? How should I be training?
That's the most humble thing Hinata could have done right there. Because one of the things that Ukai has that Hinata doesn't is Ukai has a little bit of a more objective perspective than...
Right, because he's removed from it.
Well, no, he's the coach. He is not removed from it.
Well, sure.
He has a better grasp on the player's weaknesses, because I would say that when you're playing a sport, you're it's either going to be easier for you to see your own weaknesses or everyone else's. It's never going to be the same for both. And a coach can see everyone's weaknesses
because they're not playing.
Yeah. So they are removed, but in that respect, yes, you would need a good coach that wouldn't get too emotionally invested into particular things. But the fact that Ukai saw something there, I want to see a clever execution of a practice bit that focuses on developing Hinata's skills in this area, but also offers people the opportunity to improve their skills individually, thereby helping the added whole of the team,
right?
Their top 6, because they have drills in particular where all the team is doing one thing, and this is something where they could get into some of the theories around coaching where you don't focus every section of the team on one particular thing. You focus groups of players on different things, and you start doing rotations and such like that. There's so many things they could do with that. And if they got into the meta of kind of coaching a team effectively, oh my gosh, that would be so cool. Because I think that these types of shows sometimes simplify it too much to where the coaches just kind of sit there on the sidelines and exposit, and they don't really seem to be doing anything.
Make observations about the main character.
Right. They'll come in every once in a while and be like, we're going to change things up strategy-wise. But as of all, that's kind of a boring thing in the eyes of the viewers, so they don't do it. But if they do that here and make it work, oh boy. Yeah. Oh, this could be good. Sorry, I was rambling for a minute.
No. I totally get what you're saying, especially about the whole idea of the meta behind coaching and basically how to coach people better. Because there's not just the idea, because this is one of the issues that I have a lot of the times in stories where they'll have someone just repetitively do something over and over again and they'll get better. And a lot of the case that's a lot of good stuff to it. Works. Yeah, because that is literally how it works.
Why do we go to the gym and do bench presses and stuff?
Exactly.
Because over time we'll get better.
Yep. Yeah. The whole Bruce Lee thing of I don't fear the man who's practiced 1,000 punches one time, but the man who's practiced one punch 1,000 times, right?
Exactly.
But you need to make sure that you're practicing the right punch.
Yeah.
So, you need a bit of both.
Right.
Which is why I would be really excited to see that happen, which is why Hinata going to Ukai at the end was great.
Yeah.
And with with this whole conflict here that they had for this episode, it's like you agree with both sides. Like even though you might agree with one more than the other, it's like you see the points of both sides and you're like, yes, Hinata, you go and you try to improve yourself and you reach for the sun, right?
Right.
But then at the same time, you got to be a team player. You got to cover those basics. You're not going to, that 2% increase on your quick is not going to beat Shiratorizawa if you can't do the basics.
See, but that's the thing where I am so far in the agreement with Kageyama. Like, I don't agree with Hinata like almost at all. This is where you when you've been on a team for a long period of time and you see players do things like this, you're like, that's cool. You do that. But don't waste the team's time with you interfering with the way that we do things for the purpose of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the things that I would say in particular is I don't agree with Hinata. I empathize with Hinata.
Sure.
Hinata in particular has the heart and the drive to go beyond Plus Ultra and do the thing. But the point is that the best 6 players on the court are the ones who will play on the court. And the best 6 players on the court are the 6 best players that play together on the court.
Yeah, right.
So Hinata doing this and them calling it greed, this is the name of the episode, I was like, oh, that sounds like kind of a negative thing. How are they going to work this out? I'm like, oh my gosh, they're actually getting to this very real, annoying thing that happens in sports, Jacobs. Like, I'll tell you, there was a time where there was this guy I played with. He got so good at offense in particular that he would he would ditch the formation and call out for passes to him because he would just destroy the other team's defense, right? But what ended up happening is that the other players stopped committing as much because they didn't feel as needed, and overall it hurt the offense.
Right.
When you see a player that's going beyond Plus Ultra, it can do multiple things. It doesn't just inspire necessarily.
It can also become a crutch.
It can also become a gimp or a crutch for the team, and then they rely on something until they face an actual really good team like Shiratorizawa. And actually, this is a great point to bring up. I liked that they lost almost all the sets in the training, the training thing with all the other teams, the triumvirate with Nekoma, their little group there. By showing that Karasuno has so much to go on, it's that Karasuno has so much to grow on, but Hinata, in his desire to be the best that he can be, I think accidentally took that and was like, the team needs to get better, therefore I need to get better. But he didn't communicate that well. If anything, he
has some growth that needs to happen there.
Well, no. But remember that part in the episode where someone was saying, like, they felt that Hinata just blurted out what the whole team was feeling. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Okay, well, when that part happened, I think that's what they'll maybe focus on, is that the team overall understands they need to get better. Hinata in particular just kind of says, I can't control them, I'm just going to do me, and I'm going to try and be the best that I can. He does it the wrong way, unfortunately, because he's a little bit naive.
Yeah.
But what that can do is that lights a fire under Ukai's butt, essentially, and he's like, okay, my team understands they need to get better, and some of them are acting out because of that.
Right.
We're going to step it up a notch, and I'm basically going to lay down the gauntlet and say, like, hey, guys, we're going to crank it up.
Yeah.
But if you don't want on this train, you might want to get off.
Right.
Like,
and I like that they brought that up with Ukai, thinking like, was I maybe a bit too like cushioning with them, you know, with the whole thing of like,
could that be
don't
seen
worry
as
about
weak?
It. Yeah.
That was
like,
when he removed Hinata, though, and put Narita onto the court. That wasn't when he was talking about.
I thought that's when he was talking about how like, oh, don't worry about like losing the set to Nekoma or something.
No, that was when he was. Sorry, guys. I've a lot of times like. Contradicted Jacob, and I don't know whether or not I'm right 100%, but I believe that was when he took Hinata off the court.
Oh, okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
But either way, the fact that there was a point in the episode where that thought crossed Ukai's mind is good, because it's going in parallel with the whole the even though Hinata's executing on it wrong, that passion that he has that says, hey guys, we're not good enough right now. We can't beat these guys, you know, and we probably wouldn't be able to beat Abu Jisai, or, you know, certainly not Shiratorizawa.
Right.
We need to step it up, you know, so that way, okay, then the whole team can get on board with that.
Right.
And in each their own ways and together, you know, in the way that is best for the team as a whole, they can push each other further.
Right. This is another thing that's like another side of it where I'll kind of play onto Hinata's side a little bit. There is a real thing that happens when you realize that you end up kind of being the most visibly passionate person on a team. Now, I think this is a little bit, this might be a little bit kind of egocentric to think this way. I think it's almost definitely egocentric to think this way. But if you ever catch yourself thinking, if you're in a sports setting and you're like, wow, I'm the person on the team that most wants to be here, what you're actually seeing is that you have a great responsibility to embolden the other players to want to be there even more. Now, I don't think this is what Haikyuu is necessarily going for, but something that Hinata can learn a bit from people like Sugawara, even people like Oikawa, is that the people that want to win the most, the people that are the most passionate, and the people that like end up actually winning a lot, they end up using that passion in a way that bolsters everyone else.
Exactly. Yep.
Hinata's passion is something that can go far beyond just his ability to make some freak quicks happen.
Exactly. Yeah. That the influence that can have on the team is huge. It's, in a lot of ways, it's the best thing of all.
Yeah.
And that's
we
why
talked about this from the beginning of Haikyuu.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I love the ending so much in that shot where he's jumping up towards the sun and grabbing the feather and everyone's looking up.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the idea that him, even though he's some short kid, he's basically calling them up to be their best selves and to really, you know, push way beyond what they normally would have.
Right. In particular, with Hinata's character, I think this is a good flaw for him to have, though.
Yes, it totally fits with his character. Makes sense.
I think that up until not maybe talk about like the Dateko match or something like that. Hinata was in kind of flawless mode, you know, where he could basically do no wrong, and I think that this is a good evolution of his character. In fact, they talked about evolving there, is that a lot of times characters will be written in such a way to where after they've gone through X number of character development time,
then they're done.
They're perfect. They have no flaws.
Right.
Well, that's just not realistic. With Hinata having this flaw in particular, it comes about in a real life sports setting when someone has a really high amount of skill, a lot of passion, and a lot of naivete. Basically, not a lot of experience. And in particular, this is the kind of things that end up happening. They end up butting heads, particularly with the actually strongest player on the team when it comes to their field.
Sure.
In this case, Asahi with regards to offense. And I would argue, yes, Asahi is stronger at offense than Hinata is. Hinata's really big strength is that he's paired with, Kageyama.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Hinata's great and all, but
his strengths are very specific.
Yes, his strengths are very specific. In particular, giving this bit into the second season now, there's going to be some huge character development from this over the course of the second season. And I think it's just ballsy that they brought it in 5 episodes into the second season, because it's something that would be revealed, I would say, once they started up against another team that basically being shut down like that reminded Hinata of the PTSD of the Abojisai crushing defeat.
And the fact that they're doing this is great because in a lot of ways it's a way to basically repeat what made the first season so good without retreading the same ground. Because in the first season, one of the things that made us fall in love with it so quickly was not just that it had quirky characters, but it focused so much on the internals of the main 2 characters right out the gate.
Well said.
Right? It had these things that were things that people would really have to deal with in sports settings, and then brought it to these characters and made it so that the games are just the symptom of where they're at themselves, right?
Yep.
And by them introducing this new thing that Hinata needs to work to overcome and learn from, they're and having it tie into Kageyama specifically, they're basically making it so that they can have that same dynamic that they had in the beginning, right? Without having it be something where it's like, oh, I totally forgot that lesson I learned, and now I need to, learn it all over again.
Yeah, props to Kageyama, because a lot of this could have been looked at as the context of that he flashed back, essentially, Hinata flashbacked in hearing that line from him again back when Kageyama was a king of the court kind of person.
Right.
But if you look at it in the context now, Kageyama's context is that he's thinking about the team and he's not wanting another king of the court situation to come in from the spiker position.
Right.
Which is not what you want, especially when Kageyama has been so excitedly jiving with Hinata.
Exactly.
There's
they've
no
been
one
pushing each other on so well.
Right, and that would be just like a kind of an immature player in a sport in particular to ruin a good thing for the quick fix of being like, well, maybe I'll get better at this thing. And that's awesome that they brought that up. Ooh, that's me. Anyway.
Yeah, great episode.
Great episode. Really, really interesting stuff to get over, get kind of mulled over in the discussion, because it's not a simple topic.
No.
It's one where I even think in the comments y'all are going to be pretty divided on whether or not I was right or I was wrong, or whether or not Kageyama was right or Kageyama was wrong, because I mean probably a lot of you have the added aspect of context and having knowing what's going to come next. But this is a really good flaw to bring up for your main character.
Yes,
because
it's kind of meta in a way.
It's really meta. Oh man. And in a writing perspective, it allows for some really unique things to come up from the other characters, like the not Kageyama Hinata characters. I'm not even talking about Ukai. I'm talking how does players like Suga and Nishinoya and Asahi and all them, how do they respond to this?
Yep.
And I think the way they responded was pretty mature, pretty interesting, and I kind of liked seeing a little bit of nervousness from Asahi. The fact that Asahi was like, he's gonna eat me up really quickly if I don't do something. That might unintentionally spur Asahi on.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whereas maybe other characters, it wouldn't have done that. They need a little bit of a different way of doing things.
Sure.
But maybe Asahi will be the one that will step up and be a leader in the next episode or two and be like, no, guys, Hinata's right. We need to step up our game. We need to take this and own this thing. Right. Unless we want to have another repeat of last year, and they're all going to be like, ugh.
Yeah.
Last year. Last season's finale still hits me really hard, and I'm like holding it back. But I feel like this episode came like just to the edge of being like, oh, you're gonna like really feel it, and then it's like, oh, backed off. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that was close.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything left to discuss or anything like that?
Just that this is some amazing conflict that I did not see coming, and I'm so glad that they put it in here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, if you want to see the next episode's discussion, reaction, everything like that, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access. There's also full-length reactions there. You can also get on our Discord and chat with us about stories, what have you, anything goofy, whatever, Hinata's yandere eyes or whatever. And yeah, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.